Welcome to hour number 2, live right here on College Football Today on SportsGrid. He is OK Dubs. That is Kevin Walsh. He is the mastermind of the College Football Pigkin. It's Joe Lisi. I am Ben Stevens. And now, as we start our second hour live right here on CFT, it is time for my top 10. But as we have done now for the last few weeks, before we get to the actual top 10, it's like trying to get into your favorite college and your dream school. Maybe you are on the wait list just ever so slightly on the outside looking in. Again, no particular order for this group of 5 teams, but these are the teams that are close, not quite to the top 10 as of this moment. Let's start with it here on College Football Today. Maybe not, but we'll go with those teams that we see. I know LSU is in there. Kansas State, USC still ever so slightly on the outside looking in. Utah and Oklahoma State. A lot of Big 12 teams in the mix. A lot will be determined as Big 12 play really starts in earnest today, Kev.
So let's start with USC.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that like the preseason priors have to weigh into this, but Penn State doesn't have an argument to be ranked in front of USC, do they, to you? Like, aside from preseason perception, which we're so early, I guess what I'm asking you is, preseason perception is what's holding USC out of the top 10?
A little bit, I would say, for me, at least at this time, because I still use in my preseason perception my projection of where that team is going to end the year, and I still think Penn State is a college football playoff team. USC is starting to get there in my mind as well. Would probably even lean to USC making the CFP, at least on the trajectory they have been on through their first 2 weeks, and booked as a road favorite today in Ann Arbor. But I still like Penn State's chances more of winning a Big Ten title, of getting to the college football playoff slightly than Southern Cal at this point.
I'm with Kevin in regards to USC has been very impressive. Depending upon how they play in regards to the Big House, they get this victory. They're going to be in the top 10, in my opinion, so they're deserving of being there. The one team that I like out of that whole group, and I'm not going to go homer with LSU because that was an atrocious performance last week in Williams-Brice. Kansas State, that victory over Arizona, Fafita, and McMillan, the way they shut down that passing attack, I'm starting to buy in more and more to that defense right now. And if they can pick up the victory in Provo tonight, I don't think they do, but if they can, they're going to be right there. They're deserving, especially the way Avery Johnson is playing right now.
As somebody in on the Big 12 this year, I do think K-State would earn top ranking of that conference up until this point. I'm going to throw something out that's also going to surprise you guys. I feel like Notre Dame should actually be on the wait list.
Okay.
There's 4 teams that were ranked inside the AP's top 25 heading into this week that had played multiple teams at the power level. Georgia, Notre Dame, A&M, and LSU, actually. And I'm including Notre Dame as a power opponent for A&M. Right. Notre Dame's 2 results are winning at ranked A&M and beating Purdue by 59 points. Listen, maybe we'll find out Purdue's the worst team in college football. Odds are that's not the case. I'm not trying to look. You guys know I wasn't in on Notre Dame this year. I don't know what we do now with this 3-game sample size, but amazingly, the 2 wins might now actually outweigh the 1 loss to Northern Illinois.
It's possible, but I'll agree with you in this sense. Riley Leonard hasn't thrown a touchdown pass all year. You know, prior to last week, they converted 7 of 12 in regards to third down conversions. They were converting 23% as an offense, and that was against A&M and a MAC opponent. So you need a better effort. I have no problem in terms of right now, before today against Miami putting Notre Dame in regards to that. I need to see more out of Riley Leonard.
So that was the consideration for the change to the wait list, because LSU was not good last week on the road in Columbia, but they were just a road favorite of 6.5 points in an SEC game. Notre Dame looked fantastic. The rushing attack was great. Jadarian Prince, Riley Leonard had 3 scores, and Jeremiah Love all running for at least 86 yards. If there was going to be a change, it was LSU out, Notre Dame in, because I'm still high on the Irish, and as of right now, their loss is to a ranked Northern Illinois team. LSU's, though, of course, on a Sunday in Sin City against USC. And by the way, the Trojans do have the shortest national championship price at 28-1 of any of these teams on the wait list. Now to the actual top 10 as we enter week number 4. At number 10, Miami still remains right here, 18-1. That might look a little bit crazy, seeing the 50-1 number on Missouri, or even a Penn State team off a bye and off a very narrow victory over Bowling Green, where Miami has been a great team all throughout the year. Does it anger you that I keep Miami at 10 for right now?
Yeah, I think you probably got two teams that are inside my top 5 that you don't have inside your top 5 with Miami and Tennessee. Again, ultimately, Missouri, fake team. I don't know if these teams even – I mean, do these games even get broadcasted at this point? I cannot believe how high they're ranked.
Big day for Luther Burden, though, against BC.
Well, I mean, listen, bounce back special. We had to get involved now, didn't we? But I just – again, there's nothing more Miami could do. Mm-hmm. I know we have the preseason perception. They have the Heisman Trophy favorite at this point here, right? I mean, again, we talk. All right, so we're doing projections, right? It's early in the year. I'm not going to go crazy on you yet, but you know that this will be vicious in November, right? Who has a better chance to make it, Miami or Penn State? Obviously, Miami. I'll answer my own question for you. Because the reality is the ACC looks cakewalky. They're going to be in that conference title game, and Penn State is still looking up at multiple teams inside this conference. Like, what more does Miami have to do? Beat USF? Because there's no big wins coming. They don't play Clemson. You're not going to rank Louisville. What does this team have to do?
See about Virginia Tech, I agree.
Yeah, the consistency, because we've seen Miami start fast, 5-0 last year, and they all of a sudden lose.
Did they look like this? They look like this?
They haven't had the quarterback, and they're averaging 405 yards through the air. So, yes, you're right. They have the weapons now. Can they do it week to week? So I'll agree with you. I still have a problem with Penn State. I mean, the reason why –
That's fair.
Because of Bowling Green, that matchup, they were on life support. They trailed 24-20. Yeah. And if we're putting all the weight in the week 1 matchup or the week 2 matchup against West Virginia, who now is 1-2 – I would put Oregon over Penn State right now, and I do have Tennessee. If they get the victory today, they're in my top 5.
I don't know if I'd move Oregon ahead of Penn State. I can hear Miami up. Some of this is not just preseason perception for me, but also just where I think of these teams throughout the year ending up, and that is Missouri, Oregon, and Penn State still there. But you are correct. The easiest path out of any of these teams in the first part of the top 10 is Miami as a plus 125 favorite to win the ACC, of course, a conference championship. Miami ranked as one of the 5 highest-ranked conference title winners in the country. They're going to get that AQ to the CFP. Let's go 5 through 1. Tennessee did move up, by the way, but not a ton of changes except for this one at the top we'll get to in a second. Ole Miss remains at 5, Alabama at 4. We move Georgia down to 3, Ohio State remains at 2, and the Longhorns of Texas, number 1 in the country.
I think the Longhorns are deserving. We said it last week, most complete team in regards to the nation. But is it because you're Big Ten, Ben, that we have Ohio? What has Ohio State done in regards to deserving of number 2? There's no win this year.
But who do you want there? Like, if you said Tennessee.
I had Ohio State ahead of Georgia. Ohio State won, Georgia 2 the entire year. The reason Ohio State's still ahead of Georgia, but Georgia's at 3, is because I moved Texas up from 3, as I think that these two teams, the Orange Tees, Tennessee, and the Longhorns, have been the 2 most impressive teams by a pretty large margin in college football.
It is, but again, I need to see Will Howard beat up on somebody else other than a MAC opponent, and he hasn't done it. If it was last year,
point is valid.
Part of that team, then I would say number 2.
Which again, and while I get that, what are we going to unrank Ohio State? We got to do something with them, right?
If you put Ohio State at 3 and Alabama or Georgia in the 2 spot, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Here's what I'll say. This next week, Georgia Bama. Okay,
great game.
I am excited to break that game down, bet that game, watch that game. The value for me, I'll say this now, is going to be on whoever loses that game, specifically if Georgia loses that game. One of the reasons I'm not placing Tennessee title futures this week is I can't get overly invested. We have the Michigan and Miami stuff kind of out and about right now. Is my dream scenario is possibly Georgia losing at Alabama and getting them at 6-1 or better to win the title. Because, listen, I know how it looked last week against Kentucky. I still think Georgia's the best team in the country.
If you think Alabama's going to win, you should bet the Mill Road ticket for Heisman now, because it won't be there.
I do have it at a 10-1 price, bet it after week number 1. We'll talk about this team that now tops my rankings and their new quarterback up next on College Football Today.
going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to College Football Today, live right here on this Saturday on SportsGrid. We set the stage for week number 4 of this 2024 season. Not only is Texas now atop my top 10, the Longhorns also ranked number 1 in the AP top 25 for the first time since the 2008 season. And Texas will be at home today in a town known as Austin, Texas, as Arch Manning now becomes the new starting quarterback for the Longhorns. There is the performance last week filling in for the injured Quinn Ewers at the end of the opening half against UTSA. There is also that abdomen strain that Texas is diagnosing Quinn Ewers with, and the diagnostics Lisi guy of the schedule ahead for the Longhorns before October 12th in the Red River rivalry in Dallas against Oklahoma. 44.5 is the number today in favor of the Longhorns as Arch Manning makes his first career start in Austin.
Yeah, there's no doubt Texas is going to win this matchup. Do they cover the 44.5 is the main question, right? Arch Manning has stepped up, completed 14 of 18 passes, 5 touchdowns through the air. He's got 2 on the ground. He runs 21 miles per hour, faster than the Cheetah and Tyreek Hill, which
really
can I bet that?
Skin.
Can I bet that right now? So
Arch Manning the favorite in that 100-meter dash?
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. Yeah. But we're not going to learn a lot about Texas today, right? The only thing that we can learn is potentially maybe dial back expectations if they don't cover this number, and let's say they limp through the motions and somehow, some way it's a fourth quarter game the way we saw last year. General Booty does take over in regards to this matchup. UL Monroe has an extra week of preparation.
Yep.
In terms of this type of offense, they're so methodical. UL Monroe. They take time off the clock and so methodical. I actually like them in regards to this matchup. Catching the 44.5 again. The extra week, I think, will benefit them. Texas can name their score, but again, I think it's just a letdown spot for the Longhorns.
I have a big picture question, then we'll wrap around to what I think is a great bet in this game. So Texas becoming the number 1 in the AP poll is probably more to do with them having Georgia as the number 1. But you had Ohio State. Texas becoming the number 1 while they lost their starting quarterback is a little odd. Like, are we doing the Arches better thing? Are we doing well, you're shaking your head no, and you got Texas number 1. So what are we doing? Let's get into this here a little bit.
Here's what I'm doing. The Longhorns know that they play UL Monroe right now as a 44.5 point favorite. They start their SEC action against a Mississippi State team that's dreadful and got beat in Stark Vegas, giving up 41 points to Toledo. They know they don't need Quinn Ewers, and I still think Quinn Ewers is probably going to start next week against Mississippi State. Then they have a bye before the Red River rivalry. So I don't think Quinn Ewers is fully healthy. There's no need to rush him back, and Arch Manning is there. And I think, Kev, you can even see that on display with the Heisman Trophy odds, because you sent in our CFT group chat as Arch Manning was tearing up UTSA last Saturday night in Austin. His 210-1 number came all the way down to 25-1, and Quinn Ewers, who entered week number 3 as the Heisman Trophy favorite at a 5-1 price, was only $5 in front of his backup, Arch Manning.
Right.
And yet the market is kind of resetting here, where Quinn Ewers' price is now 12-1.
But again, and then, Joe, here's how the tabs read, okay?
Yeah, please.
Games, top 25, FCS, Arch Manning, national championship.
I get it.
Okay? The statistics, I get it. It's backup. It's guard. I got you. 17.7 yards per pass attempt. 5 touchdowns through the air, 2 on the ground. The rate, 317.8. I don't even know what that is. I mean, the passer rating for Arch Manning. Here's the thing. We can all sit here and be confident that they're going to give the football back to Quinn, but you're saying they're playing UL Monroe today.
Yeah.
He might throw 7 touchdowns. If he wants, he can. And then next week is Mississippi State, who's terrible. Are we sure they're going to bench Arch Manning? Are you sure they're going to bench Arch Manning?
Yes, because he doesn't.
Man. I tell you.
Quinn Ewers went into Alabama, got the victory last year.
Sure
He went into Ann Arbor, got the victories, battle-tested.
Yeah.
The Red River rivalries in a couple of weeks. You want your best quarterback in terms of game experience, in terms of that matchup. Quinn Ewers, goes into that game, throws 3 picks, and they're trailing. Maybe then Arch Manning comes in regards to a spark plug. But again, the reason why, to your point, why they're putting Texas and why he put Texas in regards to being number 1 is if Quinn Ewers had an ACL, God forbid, or a throwing shoulder injury, right, where there's the potential to lose him for the season, I think maybe people would be a little bit tempered and not, maybe full-blown Texas number 1. But that's secondary. Has only given up 1 touchdown pass, 5 interceptions. The front 7 looks like it did last year, only giving up 105 rushing yards on the ground. So, again, the interior looks like it could be played with anybody, Georgia, Alabama, and it doesn't matter who's quarterback. Right. That's why I'm buying into Texas being a top 3 team.
And the reason I moved them up to number 1 is because of how complete they are. I mentioned it. There's 16 FBS teams at the end of week 3 that were a perfect 3-0 against the spread. 4 FBS programs booked as a favorite in all 3, covering all 3 of those numbers, Texas included, by more than 2 touchdowns per game. Arch Manning last week, 9 of 12. 223, 4 touchdowns, 3 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Quickly here, Kev, we'll get to it later in the game. That's a very lofty passing yards prop for a quarterback's first career.
So this has nothing to do with Arch Manning. The number's 292.5. This is the same exact process I used to bet a Quinn Ewers under in week number 1. Under Sark, his starting quarterback has never thrown for more than 260 yards in a game against a non-power team.
Right.
So unless he's going to reset the rules for Arch, which would be incredibly dumb because you cannot let Arch get injured in this football game. Again, Quinn got injured in a useless game. You can't let that happen to Arch here. Under 292.5, it's one of my favorite props, maybe my favorite prop on the card today. You have to go under this number here.
The Warhawks, UL Monroe, are 2-0 straight up and against the spread. They didn't win outright as an 11-point dog against UAB, 32-6. General Booty will start against Arch Manning today. Now let's go quickly to Ohio State, Kev. They're a 39.5-point home favorite today, this game at noon Eastern against Marshall. Lisi said it, the Buckeyes really have not been tested against 2 MAC opponents in their first 2 games. Now they get Marshall here and Charles Huff. Should they have any difficulties even winning this game by 5 touchdowns?
So this is the first time under Ryan Day they've had this type of early bye week. In his last 3 years, twice he had a bye and came out hung 50 the following week, one against Iowa. Those are with C.J. Stroud. Last year, a bye week, really slow start, got to 37 against Maryland. If I'm betting this game, the only way I'm betting it is over.
I'm going to take the points, 39.5. I think Huff, a defensive-minded coach, they can keep it close.
7-8 against the spread under Charles Huff. This is his 4th year for Marshall. They made a bowl game each of the first 3. More CFT next.
there's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to College Football Today, live right here on SportsGrid. Stop me if you've heard these words before. Notre Dame against the MAC team. Could it be dicey under the watchful eye of Touchdown Jesus in South Bend once again against the reigning MAC champs in Miami of Ohio? Notre Dame against MAC teams. 7-1 straight up with an average margin of 22.4 points per game. Their victory margin. That only loss, of course, 2 weeks ago against Northern Illinois, losing outright as a 28.5-point underdog. But Kev, a pretty similar spread, near 4 touchdowns today against Miami of Ohio. And you mentioned it last week. Bounce back game for Notre Dame. They win 66-7, cruising past the Boilermakers in West Lafayette, easily covering as a 7.5-point road favorite against Purdue. What do we see out of Notre Dame? Week 4 against yet another MAC foe.
So just to kind of reemphasize the points that we were making during the wait list with Notre Dame, but they beat the spread expectations by 51.5 against Purdue. Their loss to Northern Illinois, they lost to the spread by 30.5, meaning that it was 3 touchdowns more unlikely what they did to Purdue than what happened against Northern Illinois, who is ranked. I'm not trying to defend Notre Dame. I don't need to bet this game. Marcus Freeman, though, should have his team ready to absolutely unload and roll Miami of Ohio. It doesn't need to be by 28. It should be by 20+. This is kind of just a look-ahead bet. But if Notre Dame does what they are supposed to, which is get up and roll a bad team because of what happened with Northern Illinois, Louisville will be a very sharp side next week because then Notre Dame will get overinflated in the market for beating up on bad teams they're supposed to beat.
Yeah, I don't see any way how Miami of O can compete in regards to putting up points. That's a cause of concern. They're rushing for 32 yards on the ground. They're
worse than college football.
Completely one-dimensional. Now, Brett Gabbert is an experienced quarterback. This team was supposed to be one of the better in terms of the MAC. They've started and limped right out of the gate 0-2. But if I'm Notre Dame and I'm Marcus Freeman, right, Miami of O is giving up 182 rushing yards per game. We know we can run it. I need to see Riley Leonard in that offense challenge defenses over the top because if they are, in fact, a contender, they need to know that Riley Leonard can lead them from behind. Yeah. It's the same situation they had with Sam Hartman, only worse. At least Hartman could throw touchdown passes. His first game against Navy, he threw 4. I mean, we have none. We're in week number 4, Ben.
They only allowed 38 rushing yards to Purdue last week. You mentioned it. The Red Hawks, 32 yards per game on the ground. They're 0-2. Miami of Ohio under Chuck Martin, two-time MAC champion in the last 5 years, an 11-win football team a season ago. But this year, they're 0-2. They played Northwestern to start, did not score many points in that one, and then Cincinnati last week in what is a rivalry game, the battle for the victory bell. So they're 0-2 against the spread as a 3-point underdog in both, getting 27.5 today in South Bend. The last 3 years as an underdog, prior to 2024, under Chuck Martin, 12-7 against the spread, just something to keep in mind. Northern Illinois has been an unreal underdog team in the last few seasons, but not great under Thomas Hammock as a favorite, just 7-18 against the spread. After the upset in South Bend, NIU had the week off. They get ready for their MAC opener today against Buffalo. 13.5-point spread, Lisi guy, in favor of the Huskies. They're ranked 23rd in the country now. Will they match the expectation?
I think they will, but again, I like the points with Buffalo here. Buffalo typically plays Northern very tough. These teams played in the MAC championship a few years ago. I like the Bulls in regards to the road. I think they can run it. I like the total here. 43.5 I think is light. I think you're getting an over adjustment because it's a MAC opponent. Give me the over. I think we can get this game into the high 40s, early 50s here.
You know, this is an interesting spot with the 14s all gone on Buffalo, and maybe I should still take it at 13.5. It's not just how bad Hammock has been as a favorite, but last year they played 2 ranked opponents. The following weeks, they're over a field goal favorite at home. They lose both of those games outright. 2 years ago, hung with Kentucky. The next week, they go to Ball State, laying a number. They lose that game outright. 2021, they actually beat Georgia Tech with him. The following week, they're catching 6.5 points from Wyoming. They lose that game, no cover. They gave up 50 points. It's just not a spot they've been good in. Again, the one thing that's interesting with this slate, though, Ben, a lot of these early buys. So they kind of had a week to get it out of their system, if you will, which makes it a trickier spot to cap.
7-18 against the spread as a favorite, that's it, but 21-10-1 against the spread as an underdog. Buffalo this year, both 2-1 straight up and ATS, wins in both of their games as a favorite. Against Lafayette and against UMass, they were laying 3 in both of those. We go very, very fast up next with an additional game in College Station to break down here on CFP.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid. Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Brew Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line. only on SportsGrid.
So many good college football games on this Week 4 Saturday slate. Live right here on College Football Today. Kevin Walsh, it's time to go super fast.
Yes, throw the kitchen sink at him. 5 wide, baby. RPO. Let's run it. Oh, man. Texas A&M Bowling Green, 22.5-point spread. Bowling Green off a bye. Hung around with Penn State. Can they hang around with Texas A&M?
I think they can. I'm not sold on Texas A&M being a complete team right now. They're on their backup quarterback. Give me Bowling Green with Connor Blasiak, that is averaging 34 points per game.
Yeah, certainly so. They covered as that 34-point underdog in not-so-happy Valley in week number 2. One of 11 FBS programs are the Falcons, both converting 50% or more of their third down conversions on offense and limiting opponents to less than a 30% conversion percentage on the defensive side of the football. Did allow 234 rushing yards against Penn State. And Texas A&M last week, with Marcel Reed out there, ran it 55 times against the Gators for 310 yards and held Florida to only 52 rushing yards on the other side. A&M seems to be all right. They are back in the AP top 25. An SEC program against a MAC opponent. Let's go to SEC play with Auburn and Arkansas midway through your Saturday afternoon on the Plains in Jordan-Hare. Lisi, guy, this is an interesting game. 2.5-point spread in favor of the Tigers at home. Hank Brown, the freshman, made his first career start. As Peyton Thorne is not very good for the Tigers, and they got beat outright as a 12-point favorite against Cal. Arkansas has been putting up a ton of points and a ton of offense so far this season. Total 54.5. What do you like?
I like the over in regards to this matchup. I lean to Arkansas, but I don't love it because Auburn has won 7 of the last 8 in regards to the series. Jaquindon Jackson, his number's 82.5. Hank Brown, 6 touchdowns on the year, no interceptions. Completed 20 or 30 passes, Kev. We might get this game into the 60s.
I'm worried. I would more so lean towards the under here. A lot of buy on what Hank Brown did against New Mexico. That's a terrible defense. Arizona hung 63 on them, no problem here. This is a tough start at home, SEC play. I think they could be a little more buttoned up and conservative than probably Joe would want to see.
Auburn, the worst passing defense in the SEC as of this moment, allowing 243 yards per game. Taylor Green, of course, the Boise State transfer, now the Hogs quarterback, threw for 416 yards against Oklahoma State, but last week 11 of 26 for $161 and an interception against UAB. Arkansas struggled against the Blazers. They won that game by 10, but came nowhere close to covering as a 22-point favorite. Action! Jaquindon Jackson, at least 101 yards on the ground in all 3 for the Razorbacks. All the narratives and the storylines, Kev, on this Saturday in Stark Vegas. This one of the few enticing games early on your Saturday in the noon Eastern time window. Mississippi State, 1-2 football team, hosting Florida. 1-2 football team. The Gators an underdog in 2 games in the Swamp. They haven't even been remotely close. Now they're on the road in Starkville as nearly a touchdown favorite, laying 6.5. That warm seat is scorching under Billy Napier. What happens today in Starkville?
Well, we've now got a near touchdown line, though. So, again, a line that is not reflective of, this Gators team is absolutely dead to rights. The quarterback situation, though, for me, it's a little bit head-scratching here. If you want to try and hold on to Lagway, you would like to think that you let him play here. It makes things tricky. Could only look Bulldogs off of what should be their best week of practice. What happened to them at home against Toledo, as embarrassing as it gets for an SEC program.
Totally agree. Here's the problem. You look at Billy Napier in Florida during his tenure, he's only got 2 road wins on the road or on a neutral field, right? That's a problem going into Stark Vegas in regards to this matchup. Blake Shapen, 70% completion percentage. Miss State's secondary only giving up 174 passing yards per game. They went toe-to-toe for the most part with Arizona State. That's undefeated. I know they fell behind and there was a lot of catch-up, but Miss State could be live. I don't see any reason why you could back Florida. If they win, that's fine, but I'm going to take the points with the Bulldogs.
The Gators 4-9 against the spread as a favorite under Billy Napier, who, of course, became the head coach in Gainesville to start 2023. 2022? Will he be there to start 2025? Probably not. Is he going to be there for the remainder of 2024? If they lose this game, he's going to get Lane Kiffin. He's not going to get back on the tarmac. He's going to be left in Starkville to find his own way home. Your family, your religion, and Rutgers football takes on Lane Stadium today and Virginia Tech. The Hokies, though, Lisi, in this game, booked as a home favorite in Blacksburg. 3.5-point spread. Just how competitive is this matchup between the Scarlet Knights and the Hokies?
I think it's close for a half. In the second half, I think Virginia Tech pulls away. They show me that, especially against ODU, in regards to that matchup. We talked. Oh, I knew it was on Rutgers. That's why I said that. Now
the algo is computing, folks.
I can't bet the game in Jersey. That's so there you go. I'll root it in for you. But I will say this. The biggest thing for me in terms of that victory over Old Dominion last week is that they won on the road. That was typically a series that was dominated by home teams. You saw the Virginia Tech defense step up. Again, a methodical offense in Rutgers. Va-Tech at home, dominant under Brett Pry. Give me the Hokies laying the 3.5.
I would look towards the over in this game, but it's here in Jersey. I can't bet it. I don't break it down. Leave me alone. Legalize us betting on Rutgers games, especially when the basketball teams rip, roaring, and rocking in November.
Oh,
you want to go to a game?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, we'll make it happen. You want to come?
I would love to.
You bailed on me with the Rutgers-Washington game. I won't let that go.
It's very tough for me, yeah.
Is this the best bet for you?
Oh, it's up there. I bet it early. I bet it on Sunday. Rutgers
on
plus.
Sunday?
Bet it on Sunday.
Sunday shopping.
Rutgers
wow.
plus 4.5. Market mover line 3.
Wish I would have known
Rutgers
that.
10-3 against the spread in non-conference play since 2021. Fourth best cover percentage in the country, only behind Tennessee, Maryland, and UNLV. Get ready to know Kyle Monungai's name. He's going to run all over Va-Tech. The only issue, they allowed 145 rushing yards to Howard. Jayshon Scroggins, the quarterback for the Bison, pretty good in that game. Kyron Drones did come on last week, Lisi Guy, $117 on the ground and a rushing touchdown, 32 combined rushing yards. Is that your favorite thing that I do when I give you my pick, but say why the other side might actually have some advantages?
It's that, and it's also during RPO with like 3 more games to go. We're getting Howard Bison quarterback stats. I hear you.
Rutgers.
Look, Boston College, Michigan State, let's get it in.
You gave it back to me. I think we're going to the next game.
I'm not going to let you talk Rutgers football. They're your favorite team in the world. Boston College, Michigan State, 6.5-point spread here. BC Eagles look like the side to me, but am I missing something, Joe, or is it all Bill O'Brien?
Well, it might be Bill O'Brien and Castellanos that got the cover in regards to the backdoor in game, 6.5. But I'm going to take the physicality of Michigan State. I think they can run it. And, again, I'm not sold big picture on Boston College being a 10-win football team. I'll take the minor upset in Chestnut Hill.
A lot of injuries here for MSU. Their true freshman star, wideout Nick Marsh, is out. Gavin Brocious, who was the backup right guard, is now injured. A lot of things to contend. BC 3-0 against the spread, but the line now 4.5. How about the Naval Midshipmen? Off to a great start this year. And Lisi Guy, Memphis on the road last week, winning outright as an underdog in Tallahassee. They're laying points in Annapolis. Can the Tigers back it up?
I think they can. People are looking for a letdown spot. The way you beat the triple option is you jump up early. They have the quarterback in Seth Hennigan. They have the speed. I believe this is the best team in regards to the group of 5, Kev. Give me Memphis in a rout today.
Anything over a touchdown, usually with these service academies, you have to be very cautious about. But Navy has been getting hammered all week long money-wise. This number's been continuing to drop. I think this is a much better game to bet in-game here. Memphis gets the ball first, scores a touchdown. Rock it with Navy then.
Memphis over in 11 of 13 games last year. Today's total 47.5. The Tigers under in all 3 to start off this season. Let's go to North Carolina. UNC at noon Eastern time. 11.5-point favorite, Kev, against James Madison. Line working back to the Tar Heels. They have struggled to cover a number so far this season. How do you break down this match?
Yeah, North Carolina hard to trust here. We've seen them play these non-power teams and be put on the ropes here. JMU's done fine enough early. Without Cignetti here, you could only look towards a double-digit number.
I like North Carolina. Rivalry game on deck next week with Duke. Criswell, the third stringer, will get the start. But I think North Carolina is the right side.
Third different starting quarterback for UNC. As Lisi mentioned, Jacoby Criswell gets the start today for the Tar Heels. Bob Chesney has done a great job in his first year with JMU. We'll talk some moneyline sprinkles in a little bit. The coach, Terry Bowden, joins us next.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind LA, that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Live right here on this Week 4 Saturday on College Football Today. Ben Stevens, Joe Lisi, and very pleased once again to be joined by the coach, Terry Bowden, back here on CFT to get you set for this 4th full Saturday of the college football season. 28 years of coaching experience in the college ranks. Coach, we're glad to have you back to get set for week number 4.
I'm looking forward to it. Got some great football this weekend. We're going to hit a few of the better games right now.
3 ranked versus ranked matchups on this Saturday, Coach. And let's start in the big house in Ann Arbor. USC's Big Ten football debut against Michigan. The Wolverines, a home underdog, Coach, for the 2nd time in the last 3 weeks. It's a 4.5-point spread now in favor of USC. They were an underdog just once in the previous 3 seasons that ended with 3 consecutive Big Ten titles and, of course, a national championship a year ago. How do you break down the matchup from what you're seeing on paper between the Trojans and the Wolverines?
I think Michigan's still an enigma. They don't know who they are. They're switching quarterbacks to Alex Orji, and it's not that they found a quarterback. It's that they're looking for a quarterback. You know, think about Ewers at Texas being replaced by Arch Manning. You know what you got. You know you got somebody that can fill in if he's hurt. But I think Michigan is looking, and if Orji can just not throw interceptions, Warren threw 6 interceptions, 1 the first game, 2 the second game, 3 the third game. So I think the first thing Orji's got to do is don't turn the ball over. Just play good, solid football, manage the offense. And remember, you have a good football team. You were 13-0 last year. You still got a lot of people that know how to win. But USC right now, because of the way they play on defense, along with their great offense, it's going to be hard for them to keep up with USC.
Coach, let's talk about the quarterback. Orji's more mobile. He's the more athletic out of him and Davis Warren. From the coaching perspective, what could Jerome Moore and that offensive staff implement due to his athleticism to potentially give the Wolverines an edge in this matchup?
Well, just a lot more running with the quarterback and running the football, getting it down to good 3rd down situations where you're not throwing in pure passing situations. That's what you don't want to have with this quarterback. So the fact that he can't run, now let's make sure we mix that in with the offense. That'll help protect him from having to win the game with his arm and putting pressure on him. Because you know good and well at the big house, there is a lot of pressure on that young quarterback.
Michigan over 300 rushing yards as a team last week against Arkansas State. I assume we will see a similar offensive philosophy today against Southern Cal. Coach, you've been around college football for a very long time, and it's the first time in a very long time that Oklahoma, as a ranked team, is catching more than 4 points at home in Norman. It's a 6.5-point spread in favor of the Volunteers. How do you expect this game to go tonight under the lights in Norman?
Well, Oklahoma still plays great defense. I don't think they played very well on offense. They really struggled against Houston, against Tulane. Didn't lock those games up till late. And I think they struggle on Jackson Arnold is a good quarterback, but they don't have quite the explosiveness. Tennessee is so explosive on offense. Tennessee is playing great defense, maybe with Pierce, the best football player, maybe in all of college football. Tennessee's got too much offense. I think Oklahoma will play great defense. Zach Alley, their defensive coordinator, was my defensive coordinator 3 years ago. He does a great job. He's a protege of Brent Venables. He was with him 8 years at Clemson. They do a really good job on defense. They'll have to not turn the ball over, and they'll have to score some early because I think Tennessee is going to have so many shots downfield. They're going to have so much big play possibility that I think what they're going to do, they're going to gradually just pull away and win this game and cover in this game.
Let's talk about Zach Alley's approach in regards to this matchup, Coach. I mean, Tennessee's balanced rushing and throwing for over 300 yards per game. Do you think he looks to take away the rushing attack with Dylan Sampson first, or is it more taking away Nico in the passing game?
Tennessee doesn't give you the option, Joe. They spread it out so wide, and they attack you down the field on the sideline and the hitch screens on the edge as well. They force you to cover those people. And if they do, that allows Tennessee to run against less numbers. So it's Tennessee that dictates what you get. Now, you can go out there and play man coverage on their wideouts and bring everybody in the box and stop the run. But now you're talking about a team that's great at throwing the deep ball, great at throwing the wide ball. So I think Tennessee, if you can keep them from throwing the deep ball and getting a big plays, it's the big plays that's going to get you. I think they'll play smart enough defense, and they'll run the football on offense. And Oklahoma just needs to stay in this game and feel comfortable. As they get more comfortable in what they're doing, I think they'll have a better chance to win this game. But you can't go out there and just say we're going to stop the run, because that's going to put you one-on-one with that wideouts and how wide they play and how much they stretch you out on defense.
The Vols putting up 636 yards per game so far this season. Coach, they're the only team in the country that is averaging more than 300 passing yards and 300 rushing yards so far this season. Let's talk quarterbacks. Let's talk offense. Let's keep it in the state of Oklahoma. A Big 12 battle today between Oklahoma State and Utah. Coach Bowden, Utah is a slight favorite on the road in Stillwater, but we are really not sure the status of Utah's quarterback, Cam Rising. From the coaching perspective, if you're Mike Gundy, how are you preparing your defense for this matchup against the Utes?
Well, you've got to prepare for Cam Rising because he is the guy that's made them the preseason favorite in the conference. Now, he practiced Tuesday, he practiced Wednesday, and those are your work days. Those are the days that you really have to prepare for. So the word out of Utah is that he's ready to go. And I think what's got to happen, you got to make sure you put good pressure on him. Don't give up the deep ball and make sure he doesn't beat you because, Utah was the preseason favorite in this conference. Oklahoma State probably number 2. But they were a preseason favorite because of Cam Rising, and you can't let him beat you throwing that football and what he does offensively.
Coach, Utah's just 20-20 overall over the past 6 seasons in regards to playing on the road. It's a special mindset. What is the most important thing to pull a matchup in a team in Oklahoma State that has been a dominant home team over the past few years?
Well, you don't want to give up the big play or turn the ball over when you're playing on the road. And you're playing a team that is a good football team that plays well at home. Don't give them a better chance to win by turning the ball over and giving up explosive plays. Now, Oklahoma State's running back, their great running back, has not exploded so far, so you don't want him to be the guy.
Ollie Gordon II, less than 50 yards in 2 consecutive weeks. The coach, Terry Bowden, thanks for joining us here on this Saturday on College Football Today. Enjoy the Week 4 slate, Coach.
Thank you now.
We'll continue on College Football Today. On the other side of the break, some pay-dirt picks to find some money into the end zone, and then some money line underdogs that might be smelling an upset on this Saturday. More next.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Live right here on College Football Today, ending out our second hour, but we do so finding a ton of money, first in the end zone and then with some underdog.
The answers are in there somewhere, baby. Let's get those pay dirt picks moving. You know, Lisa, usually I like to start my thoughts, but I know you're scanning the database for answers and big touchdown scorers. Let's begin with the big game with USC and Michigan. What are you looking for here in terms of some end zone cash?
Well, for me, it is Donovan Edwards. I know it seems a little bit chalky, but I did alt his total today up to 110. I think if Michigan's going to win this game, it's not 1 but 2. I'm wearing the same shoes, by the way, as the national championship game. Similar jacket, 10-to-1 price. We're going to go all in on. I know you're in on Orgy and Mullings today.
No, but see, I don't think you should give it away the secret like that.
The secret sauce?
That you came in dressed and prepared for it. I think you shouldn't tell people. Will it? But I don't think you should tell people. Now I'm worried about Edwards.
I like Woody Marks on the ground, too, today.
Best price to find the end zone today. 3 total touchdowns, scored twice against LSU in the opener. How about the fact that Alex Orgy, the quarterback, has a shorter price to find the end zone than either Kalel Mullings, who scored twice last week, or Donovan Edwards, who had 82 yards and a touchdown last week? Does that tickle your fancy?
Not really. I still think that backfield's odd. My bet from this game will come in go for the loot here, which certainly, again, will not be a money line dog. Tennessee, Oklahoma. Now, my bet, 57.5 under, means these guys should respond with no touchdown scorers here, but there could be some juice, Joe. Who do you like?
I'm taking Oklahoma in terms of their defense in regards to this. They're +8 in turnover margin. If they're going to win this game, it's going to be turnovers, and I think Oklahoma can force them. The fact that they have the home crowd, they're a dominant home team, 37-3. I think that could happen. Jackson Arnold, to me, I think gets paid dirt today. Out of all the quarterbacks we're looking at, Jackson Arnold has a huge price. Keep an eye out for him.
Jackson Arnold is Oklahoma's leading rusher this year with 159 total yards. He had 97 last week against Tulane and 2 rushing scores. It's not a bad area to look. Look at Dylan Sampson. Look at the price at -290. We love those pay-dirt-pick prices for some of the best backs in the country. 4 touchdowns last week is what Dylan Sampson had. To your point, Lisa Guy, Oklahoma, 8 turnovers caused already this year. Nico Iamaleava against the only power conference competition in Charlotte against NC State, did throw 2 interceptions. Kev, any looks here between OU and Tennessee?
For me, if I'm going to go for one of these big games and it's a touchdown score, it would be climbing the ladder with Ollie Gordon. Oklahoma State, Utah. I know there's a lot of question marks around the Cam Rising situation. We've handled that portion of this already here. But Ollie Gordon, 2 touchdowns, better than 4-1, give or take, better than 3-1 certainly. You can get 9-1 on him to score 3 times. Again, at some point, Ollie Gordon is going to break out, Joe.
I agree. I was going to jump on his number, 81.5. I might take it in terms of an in-game number in regards to that matchup. But you look at the passing attack. If Bowman's going to have success, Stribling at plus 198. He's the bigger wide receiver over Presley.
Yeah.
Presley's plus 102. He's more of a burner on the outside. Stribling is used in regards to one-on-one opportunity in terms of the red zone. I like that. And Money Parks for Utah has great value at 2-1.
Great name.
Alan Bowman threw 5 touchdowns last week. DeJon Stribling is their leading receiver, but Brennan Presley the most receiving touchdowns this year with 3. You reminded me I like Mekhi Bernard for this football game. Minus 180 to find Pater and over 80.5 rushing yards. Thank you for being with me. But now it's time to give you the big plus money.
Shall we, folks? Open that vault. Let's go for the loot. Come on now. As written in the rule book, a moneyline dog better than 2-1 or whatever I damn well please. Alex Orji 2+ touchdowns last week was the pick. It's the pick again, except this time through the air. 6-1 on the Danger Man to toss 2. Are you kidding me, Daddy? He's already on the card at minus 110. He's thrown 6 passes this year, and he has 2 touchdowns. If he throws 10 passes in this game, he's going to throw 5 touchdowns. I mean, he's just that explosive. Put it on the card, Joe.
All right, hope they come through because that means Edwards will lead as well. I'm going with an underdog. I like the Bulls in terms of USF. They went toe-to-toe with Alabama. Plus 580 in the money line. I said some kryptonite is in the market. I don't care. It's a late-night special, 7 o'clock, intrastate rivalry. They're not going to fear the U. And I just want to come back next week and do a little U bash, and if somehow, some way they do strike the upset.
Keep rooting it in.
You're looking at that one, huh? I'm looking at James Madison early in this day, plus 340 on the money line. In 2 years as an FBS program, 2-2 against the spread as an underdog. But Bob Chesney has not really fallen off from where Kurt Cignetti had this program. One of 17 teams around the country allowing less than 10 points per game. 3's up as we hit our third and final hour. Up next.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind LA. That being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line. only on SportsGrid.